Welcome to Bhakti Sangha Japa conference call. Today we are very fortunate to have His Grace Sukumar Gaur Prabhuji. So, Prabhuji, are you present on the call?
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Please accept
Dandavat Pranam. Yes, Mataji. I'm there on the call.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for giving us valuable time. So now I would like to hand over the floor. Thank you so much,
Hare Krishna. Should we start the class, Mataji?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Am I audible? Is it okay?
Yes.
Okay. Hare Krishna. Thank you. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prashtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Nitinamine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Mukam karoti vachalam pangum langayate girim Yat kripatamam vande Shri Guru Dvinatarinam Shri Chaitanyeshwaram Paramanandam Hare Krishna. Today we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, text 20, chapter 23, text 6. I'll read the text and then we'll move to the translation and purport. Grishme panchatapa viro varshasva asarashan muni akantamagna shishire udake standileshaya. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Translation. Following the principles of forest living and the footsteps of the great sages and munis, Prithu Maharaj accepted 5 kinds of heating process during the summer season, exposed himself to torrents of rain in rainy season, and in winter stood in water up to his neck. He also used to simply lie down on the floor to sleep. Purport. There are some of the austerities executed by jnanis and yogis who cannot accept the process of bhakti yoga. They must undergo such severe types of austerities in order to become purified from material contamination. Panchatapa refers to 5 kinds of heating process. One is enjoined to sit within a circle of fire with flames blazing from 4 sides and sun blazing directly overhead. This is one kind of panchatapa recommended for austerity. Similarly, in the rainy season, one is enjoined to expose himself to torrents of rain, and in winter to sit in cold water up to the neck. As far as bedding is concerned, the ascetic should be content with simply lying on the floor. The purpose of undergoing such severe austerities is to become a devotee of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Shri Krishna, as explained in the next verse. Hare Krishna. So we welcome all the devotees to this Srimad Bhagavatam class. I'm grateful to all of you for giving me this service to speak something on the Srimad Bhagavatam. So the chapter's name is Prithu Maharaj Going Back to Godhead. Going back to Godhead, Prabhupada writes in almost most of the purports is the goal of a sadhaka. Prabhupada pushes this point every now and then just to make it very clear that he wants to make sure that we don't forget the goal of human form of life. In the pastime of Lord Dattatreya, Prabhupada writes there, when Mother Atri and Mother Anusuya and Rishi Atri, they desire to have a son like the Supreme Lord. There Prabhupada writes, if you get a son is okay, if you don't, it's still okay, but make sure that you get out of this material world in this lifetime itself. So having a son like the Supreme Lord is not the goal, but to get back to Him in His loving service. And the title of this chapter also is Prithu Maharaj Going Back to Godhead. In this chapter, Shukdev Goswami is now making the point that the austerities that are performed by Prithu Maharaj, in this we see that Pancha Tapa, he is doing the 5 kinds of Tapa, means having 5 fires around himself, and in rainy season he is sitting in the rains and still doing his tapasya, and in winter season Shishir Ritu, he is in the cold water and there is performing his tapasya. So if we read the previous chapter, we will come to the understanding that Prithu Maharaj was the emperor of the entire Bharatvarsha, and at the end of the last chapter he has been glorified by so many verses that he is the protector, he is the ruler, he is the master, he is the controller of the entire planet, and his opulences are described. And in all this, the 4 Kumaras come to meet him, and the talk between them is very important for all of us sadhakas. There Prithu Maharaj is asking the 4 Kumaras that how a person whose aim of life is sense enjoyment be blessed with good fortune. So he is asking in terms that he is a grahastha and that he is into sense enjoyment. So he is feeling that I am so impoverished in terms of spiritual life that I don't have any hope to be blessed with good fortune in spiritual life. And that is where he asks the question, what is the ultimate goal of life and how to achieve it? And then Prabhupada makes it very clear that going back to Krishna or going back to Vaikuntha from where we have come is the goal. The 4 Kumaras reply all these things in great detail. In this 22nd chapter, the previous chapter, 20th shloka, the 4 Kumaras, they make a very wonderful statement. They say, Asti eva rajan bhavato madudvisha padara vindasya gunanuvadane ratir durapa vidunoti naishtikim kamam kashayam malam antaratmana. He is saying, the 4 Kumaras are saying to Prithu Maharaj, ratir durapa. Rati to whom? Madhudvisha. They are saying strong spiritual attraction towards Lord Shri Krishna or Lord Vishnu is durapa, is very, very difficult to attain. And my dear king, you have got that kind of deep and strong inclination, rati, they are using the word rati. You have rati towards Lord Krishna, which is durapa, very difficult to achieve. And how do we understand that he has the rati for Lord Krishna? Gunanuvadana, he is constantly glorifying what? Padara vindasya madhudvisha. He is constantly glorifying the lotus feet of Lord Krishna. So is this attachment very easy to get? No, they are saying rati durapa, it is very difficult to. So is this rati in the sadhana stage? That sometimes we have a very good taste for chanting and sometimes it's absolutely low. They are saying no, naishtiki. It is unflinching, steady rati for Krishna. So that shows the level of advancement that Prithu Maharaj was. So now somebody may ask a question, why is it so rare? Then the shloka in itself, the 4 Kumaras say that why this rati for Madhudvisha is so durapa, why it is so rare. Because they are saying it is a powerful cleanser. Vidhunoti, dhunoti is cleaning and vidhunoti, Vishishta dhunoti is deep cleansing. Just like most of the Matajis, they use this deep cleansing lotion. So similarly in bhakti, to clean the heart, deep cleansing lotion is they are saying kamam kashayam. Kashay is dye and kamam means the materialistic desire. So the 4 Kumaras are comparing this materialistic desire to kashay, dye. Dye is something that when it is applied to a cloth, it is never removed. The cloth may get torn but the dye will not be removed. So similarly the 4 Kumaras are saying lust in the heart of a conditioned soul is like that dye, kashay, which cannot be easily removed or which cannot be removed. But one who has got attachment to chanting the Lord's glories of the Lord, then that chanting acts as a deep cleansing and dye remover both. And that is why they are saying why it is so rare, because it is a deep cleansing lotion. because it acts as a cleanser to the deep impact that the material desires have created in the heart of a conditioned soul. So they are saying, the four Kumaras are saying, since you have that kind of attachment, contamination is impossible to be seen in you. Then in the next sloka, they speak about what is the ultimate goal of life. And they are saying we are not speaking just based on our own realization. We have done this after consulting Sadhu, Guru and Shastra. It is not our own. Yes, we have taken a test and we have come to the same conclusion, but at the same time we have taken help of Sadhu, Guru and Shastra also. So in 21st sloka they are saying Shastreshva iyan eva sunichito nrina. They are saying Shastra, that we have taken iyan eva, means we have come to the final conclusion. Iyan eva proper translates as final conclusion of what? Shastreshva. Shastreshva iyan eva sunishchita. Sunishchit means they are saying we have no doubt left. Only this is the only sunishchita. Nishchita is definitely sunishchita, means that which is conclusive. There is nothing greater than this. Shastreshva iyan eva sunischito nrinam kshemaya sadrigya vimrisheshu hetu. They are saying kshemaya means what is the best welfare of any living entity. Vimrisheshu, we have come to this conclusion. How? Vimrisha. Vimrisha means after full consideration. What is that they are saying? Asanga atma vyatirikta atmani. We have to do two things. What is the goal of human form of life? Two things. Asanga atma vyatirikta atmani. We have to come or rise above the bodily platform. Asanga. We have to get detached from the bodily concept of life. This is the first thing. And second thing they are saying, atmani dridarati. Brahmani. They are saying dridarati brahmani. Nirgune. That Brahman which is nirguna, for that we should have dridarati. That means we should have strong attachment to the beautiful form of the Supreme Lord. Now Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says, why this word Brahmani is used, why not the direct personal form of the Lord? They are saying Brahmani here refers to the individual sadhaka on whatever level. If he is a Paramatmavadi or a yogi, then for him that is the Brahman factor. Or if he is in the Brahman effulgence, then for him that is the Brahmani factor. Which is, they are saying it is nirguna, it is above the three modes of material nature. So they are saying two things we have sunishchita, come to the conclusion. Vimrisha, after full consideration, is that first, what is the goal of human form of life? Asanga Atma, Vyatirikta Atmani, we have to rise above, or Asanga, we have to detach ourselves from the bodily concept of life. Second thing they are saying, Atmani Dridarati Brahmani, Dridarati Brahmani, we have to increase our attachment to Shri Krishna, or the pastimes of Lord Krishna. So detachment from matter and attachment to Krishna, they are saying, is the actual goal of human form of life. So, and how they have come to this Iyan Eva, means we have come to the final conclusion after going through Sadhu, Guru and Shastra. Now, it is not easy for a sadhaka to come to this platform, and that is why Prabhupada is constantly mentioning again and again what is the role of the Varnashram system. So the Varnashram system is designed to bring a sadhaka to this point where he can detach himself from the material conception and get himself immersed in the spiritual conception, that is that I am a pure spirit soul, part and parcel of Krishna, and the goal of my life is to lovingly serve Lord Krishna. So shifting of the focus, gradual shifting of the focus is the actual goal of Varnashram system, but for that something called as training of the mind is absolutely necessary. For example, if a child is playing with a toy, but that toy is not in a good shape, or it is not in a proper condition, proper working condition, and if mother gives a new toy which is good working, in a good working condition, the child will not be ready to leave the old toy. Why? Because now it is attached to the old toy, even though it may be it may not be working properly. Just like if we see after a certain age, even if the person, he starts to realize that this body will not sustain for a long time, but still they try and make every endeavor to keep the body somehow working. But if you tell somebody that if you give up this body, we'll give you a better body, they'll say, no, first show me that body. But that is not possible. So that he has to rise above that bodily level, and at the same time gradually he has to get attached to Lord Krishna. And that is why if you read the 10th canto, or for that matter any pastime in the Srimad Bhagavatam, we see that there is a Pal Shruti given to all the pastimes. Now Pal Shruti is that thing that if you read this pastime, you will get this and this material and this and this spiritual benefits. Now why in Srimad Bhagavat, which is the Amala Puran, material benefit is given? Because Vyasadeva is very clear in his understanding in the first chapter itself, when he foresees the Kali Yuga, he is very clear that people will not come to Lord Krishna to get bhakti or spiritual life. No. In Vrindavan, we have Banke Bihari, the most famous deity in Vrindavan. Now, when Banke Bihari ji gave his darshan to Haridas ji, who was a blind devotee, and he said, yes, my dear Haridas, now that I have revealed myself to you, now you please start my worship. And you will be amazed. Haridas ji says, what worship? Which worship? He says, Are, now you are seeing me in this deity form, you have to worship me. Now start my worship, bring all your devotees, gather them, do big arti, feed me 3 times, 4 times a day, 6 times a day. He says, see, I will do all that, that is okay. But before that you have to give me one benediction. He said, what benediction? He said, see, this is Kali Yuga, this is not Satya Yuga, Dwapar Yuga, Treta Yuga, this is Kali Yuga. Kali Yuga is exclusively meant for all upper class people. So they will not come to you to gain bhakti, they will exclusively come for getting material benefits. So if you promise me that you will fulfill, whoever comes for your darshan in Vrindavan, you will fulfill all his material desires, and then only I will start serving you. And the Lord had to give that benediction that whoever comes for my darshan will get his material desires fulfilled. None of the deities in Vrindavan have this flavor, because even his pure devotees, they understand that nobody is directly going to come to Krishna, and Krishna anyways has no interest in fulfilling anybody's material desires. He is least bothered. So it is better we never go to Krishna for fulfilling material desires. There are so many other options we have to fulfill material desires. If you want to go to Krishna, it should be exclusively for spiritual desire, because he is not interested in matter, he is interested in spirit. But the problem is the spirit soul is now entangled in matter and attached to matter. So all his material desires arise. And that is why that has to be done very smoothly. Just like a child, he is not ready to give up his toy. So the first you have to introduce repeatedly, not one time. The new toy has to be repeatedly introduced again and again, and then gradually his focus shifts from old toy to new toy. And that is why the Varnashram system is required. So the first thing, just like in the last shloka we saw that the 4 Kumaras are saying that the material desires are like kashai, it is impurity. So to remove that impurity, we have to perform what is called as tapasya. Tapa is heating. When you heat a metal, just like we heat gold, the impurity is removed. Similarly, when we heat our mind and senses, intelligence and ego through tapasya, then all the impurities are gone. And that is why Varnashram system is a refining process to bring him to gradually to bring him to the level of practicing bhakti. So each ashram is designed with a specific purpose. If till the time we don't understand the purpose of the Varnashram system, the entire system will collapse. Just like Brahmachari ashram is exclusively designed for purpose of training, exclusive training. And this is where modern education system fails, because while training or while allowing them to focus their mind, senses, intelligence on the training part or learning part or grasping part, so many distractions have been introduced, and the topmost of them is the co-ed education system, because it is not possible at that age where things are so volatile for a individual, may he be a boy or a girl, to focus on their learning part. So brahmachari life is exclusively meant for training. Second thing, grahastha life, what you learn from 5 to 25 in your training, grahastha ashram is exclusively meant for experimenting on what is taught. And then not only experimenting, but you have to come to a conclusion. Just like in the Narad and Daksha Samvad, when Narad Muni makes Daksha's 11,000 sons into sadhus, and from there they'll go back to Godhead, then Daksha is very nervous and he scolds Narad Muni. He tells Narad Muni that my kids were not ready for renunciation, you forced them into renunciation. It was artificial renunciation. So he explains his emotions very wonderfully in 6.541. Narad Muni, Daksha explains his emotion. He's saying, Nanu bhuyana janati puman vishya tikshnata. Nirvidyate swayam tasmat na tata binnadi par. He's saying, na anubhuya. They had no experience. Na anubhuya na janati. Neither did they know, neither did they have any experience. Na anubhuya na janati. What did they not know? Puman Vishaya Tikshnatam. They did not experience that the sense object, the interaction between the senses and the sense object is how it is Tikshna. It is so sharp. If you make a small mistake, you are cut. Tikshnatam. He is saying they had no anubhuyan, they had no experience, and na janati. They did not know that this interaction of senses and sense object is Tikshna. It is very dangerous. And since they did not know, there is a chance that they may come back, and that is not very good. Now the question arises, is it necessary that one has to learn through experience? And that was the entire point Narad Muni was trying to make to our Daksha. He was telling Daksha, sir, it is not necessary. Sometimes students are so intelligent that just by hearing properly they can be saved from so many dangers. And that is why the third ashram, that is the Vanaprastha ashram, is exclusively meant for whatever realization from 25 to 50 you have got, whatever experiments you have done, you have come to a conclusion that knowledge and that experience has to be transferred to the future generation to save them from many dangers. Just like, there is a wonderful story that comes, I read it long back, but I like the story, I've quoted it so many times. There was a boy from a village, but he was a rich man's son, and he came to a proper age where he was supposed to be married, and his parents, they got an invitation from the next village head, saying that even my daughter is of a marriageable age, so we would be happy if this relationship gets finalized. So the boy's father and entire family, they said, okay, we'll come tomorrow to have prasad at your place. And the entire family goes, then they see they are very well-to-do people, well-established, rich, everything is nice. The girl comes, and a traditional Indian family, she serves something and she goes back, and everybody is happy. The boy sees that the girl is beautiful, and he says, okay. So the entire family comes back, boy is happy, I'll have a good wife, she's good looking, this, that, whatever. And they come home, and the boy's father tells his father, means the boy's grandfather. So he tells grandfather that his father that see, there is a relation that has come up for this boy, and we're planning. It is good. They're all good people. So we want your permission and your blessings. So the grandfather says that I want to see that girl. First of all, the boy is shocked because this grandfather is blind. And this blind, he says, you can't see, what you will do going there? He says, no, I want to see that girl. Now since he is the senior-most person of the family, his words have to be respected. So again, the father and grandfather, this time no other people go, only father and grandfather, they go to the next village. Then they are also served well, everything goes very nice, and then they say, okay, we'll take your leave now, and they come back. And everybody is waiting now what grandfather will say. And again, at that evening, all the people come, and they're sitting together and everybody's thinking what grandfather will give, because his decision is final. And then the boy says, ask his grandfather, yes, so grandfather, what did you finalize? And so the grandfather says, we are not marrying with this girl. And the boy gets wild, because you today, they want, if they have a good beautiful looking girl, everything is over, rest nothing matters. So he sees her beauty and he says, no, I want to marry this, that, and there is a fight. But the father of this son is a mature person. Then he says, you wait, I'll speak to my father. And then he goes and speaks to his father and asks him, okay, it's good that you have given your opinion, but we just want to know why you are saying no, what's the reason behind that. So the grandfather says that try and find out more about the girl's mother, and then you come back to me. So he says, okay. So after 2 days, the father comes back and he also said that we are not marrying this girl. So the boys are totally upset. He says, why? You are with your father, you don't care about my emotions, this, that. And then the father tells his son, see, I also thought that maybe my father is not very mature, but when he told me something and when I did that, I came to a certain conclusion. He said, what did he say? He said, go and find the background of the girl's mother. So the boy and the entire family is sitting there. So what did you find? Then the father says that this girl's mother was a dancer in a club. Club means whatever they call in village. And the head of the village, his first wife died, and he married this girl. But then everybody is shocked that how did you know that? Because the grandfather is blind, he cannot see how the grandfather came to this understanding. And everybody surrounds him and asks him, grandfather, how did you come to the understanding that this girl's mother has some problem? He says, my dear son, even though I am blind, I am not deaf. When the girl came to serve me with whatever she had made, her walking had a certain kind of step movement. Just like when there is a dance, there is a rhythm. Similarly, there was a rhythm in her walk, and by that rhythm I could understand that there is something that relates this quality to her mother, and that is why I told find out about the history of her mother. So that is experience. Vanaprastha means one who has experienced life and is ready to transmit that experience and knowledge to the further generation, so that they don't have to go through the entire experience of learning. To shorten that experience, that curve of learning, and do more and more in their spiritual life. That is why this Vanaprastha ashram is the most important ashram for any society to flourish. Because without this ashram, we cannot achieve a great height or great success. Because then everybody will have to spend same long time in understanding the same things again and again. And one more story that comes in Srimad Bhagavatam 9th canto 4th chapter also, Nabhag Maharaj. So when Nabhag Maharaj's son, his son is Nabhag. So when Nabhag comes back from his Gurukul, his brothers had distributed entire property, nothing was left for him. So he said, where is my share of property? He said, take father, he's an old person. So he goes to his father and tells him, my dear father, my brothers have told me that you are my property share. So come with me. Father, you are foolish. They have taken everything. What you will do with me? I am old man. So he says but the father is very intelligent. He says, okay, don't worry. In your Gurukul, you must have been taught this mantras. Okay, he says, yes, I know all the mantras. So from here, on some distance, the descendants of Angira Rishi are doing a yajna. And they are doing this yajna to go to Swarga. But what will happen in the due course, they'll forget the mantras which are very crucial. Not all, but some crucial mantras they'll forget. So what you do, go there and supply them with those mantras. And once they are ready, fit to go to Swarga, whatever wealth they have collected for the yajna, they cannot take, they'll be there. So they'll donate everything to you. And that is how Nabhag Maharaj goes there. And he gives those mantras and he gets such tremendous wealth. And he lives happy. The point is, the generation, the future generation has to be guided. We don't have to spoon feed them. We are not saying that give them everything free. No, guide them, but at the same time don't give them easily. They have to go through that hardship also of learning, that habit of learning. Why hardship? So that habit is generated. Hardship is exclusively to generate that habit. Similarly, in sadhana bhakti, why hardship is to be done? Because we have to get habituated so that we get purified. And then comes the fourth ashram, sannyas ashram. Then we are completely trained, we are completely purified in our vanaprastha ashram. Then we are ready to exclusively do nothing but chant and hear the glories of Krishna. And that is why in our society, when any sannyasi comes, we tell him what? Please give a class. Please speak something about Lord Krishna. Have some katha. Why? Because they are ready for it with all the realizations. You tell them 24-hour katha, they are ready for 24-hour katha. Just like His Holiness Gaur Govinda Swami Maharaj. When he used to start katha, Srimad Bhagavatam katha, 1 hour of starting was exclusively dedicated, sometimes 1.5 to 2 hours exclusively for glorifying Bhagavatam, nothing else but glorifying Bhagavatam from different Puranas. That used to go for 1 to 2 hours. And after that, Bhagavatam class. So he used to start his class at 8:30. It used to end at 12:30, 1 o'clock. That was his taste for chanting the glories of Lord Krishna, because they are ready, because they have done intense purification. And that is the goal, the last line of this purport, Prabhupada's writing, that the goal of purification is to develop that rati, that love for Krishna. So moving from one ashram to other is very important. That transition, that time has to be given. Because the transition from brahmachari to grahastha to vanaprastha to sannyas takes some time, because the mind has to be made ready. Vanaprastha means vanaprastha, he will be moving towards the vana. So his mind, which is habituated to such luxurious things, it won't be easy. Just like when we have yoga classes in our temple, so the instructor there, very wonderful, very nice to learn. He always makes our mind ready for the next stage, because the next stage is going to be more painful than the previous one. Just like when we do Surya Namaskar, we have to bow down. Initially the back doesn't bend, because from long time we haven't been doing this. Then we bow down, then the third, fourth, fifth, sixth. Sixth is the stretching of the thigh. That is the most difficult. And we have to apply all that stretch. We have to experience that stretch. But before that, he will slowly say, okay, now we are going into the sixth step, which will be stretching of the thighs, and there you will feel pain. But don't worry, it will be there only for a certain period of time, and then it will go away. So the mind is getting ready for all this. So transition from one ashram to other has to be given time. Because brahmachari life means training for self-control. That means you have to depend exclusively on your guru. Grahastha life means sense enjoyment plus tapasya. You have to depend on your husband, wife and guru. Vanaprastha life means retired life, which is stricter than the above two ashrams. There is rigidity in following the rules. That means you have to again completely depend upon your guru for further instructions. And when you are sannyas, completely purified, then 24 hours you have to depend on Krishna. But this has to be done very gradually and cautiously. So retire from one phase to achieve, to be active in other phase. So that is the purpose we have to achieve in this varnashram system. So the most important is to make mind ready for purification, because the mind can cheat us at any time. Just like we have this Jad Bharat Maharaj or Sauburi Muni. We have so many examples. Every now and then we can get distracted. So emergency for any sadhaka, Prabhupada writes in the purport, is 2.59, Param Drishtva Nivartate. So if till the time we don't relish the joy of Krishna consciousness, it will be very difficult for us to keep moving ahead in our purification process, because purification in itself is very, very painful. It is not easy process. So we have to taste something so that it gives us some solace in this difficult time. So we have to experience Krishna either in Hariram or in Kirtan or in Japa or in Katha or discussing Hari Katha with devotees, going to Yatra. Something has to be there. So the process has to be powerful enough to satisfy the mind, and that is why the Sanat Kumar, very wonderful shloka. This shloka I have heard n number of times from so many sannyasis. So this comes in the 22nd chapter. Yat pad pankaj palas vilas bhaktya karmashayam gratitam udgratayanti santa tadvanna riktamatayo yatayo piruddha shroto ganastamaranam bhajavasudevam. That they are saying that devotees, what do? Yat pad pankaj palas. Palas is petal. Pad pankaj is lotus. Pankaj palas means the petal of the lotus. So they are comparing this to the nails. Yat pad. Pad means feet. The nails of the Lord. Vilasa bhaktya. Las means enjoyment. Vilas means vishishta enjoyment. Bhaktya. The devotees enjoy, find a great taste in meditating on the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord. What happens by that? Karma shayam gratitam udgratayanti santa. They say that the hard knotted granthi for having something material to enjoy the senses, that hard knot is cut down. But what happens? Tadvanna riktamatoyo yatayo piruddha. They are saying riktamati, those who are unintelligent, those who are devoid of bhakti for Krishna, yataya means yatna, prayatna. They are endeavoring. How? What are they endeavoring for? Ruddha. Ruddha means to stop. What are they trying to stop by strong endeavor in spiritual life? Shroto gana. Gana means group. Shroto is senses. The group of senses. That means the waves of sense enjoyment they are trying to stop. No. But what happens? They never succeed. So they are saying, what is the easiest way? Bhajavasudevam. Aranam bhaja. Taking shelter, you always meditate on the lotus feet of Lord Krishna. Just like we see Vishwamitra Muni. Vishwamitra Muni did so much of tapasya, but he failed. Why? Because the waves of sense enjoyment he could not stop. And he did this 3 times. But 4th time when he took shelter of Lord Rama's beauty, then everything, his senses were completely satisfied. The morning when he is about to take them and they're resting in the forest, and he sees that it's almost the sun is about to rise and all this, and both these Kumaras have not risen. So he goes to wake them up, and immediately when he sees their beauty of Ram and Lakshman, for a long time, Acharya say for 1 hour is only chanting the names of Mata Kausalya. He is just saying Kausalya, Kausalya, Kausalya. And then after 1 hour, when he glorifies sufficiently the devotees of Lord Ram, that is Mother Kausalya, then the Lord is pleased. Okay, now you start glorifying me. I will give you the required intelligence. Then he says, Kausalya, Supraja Rama, Purva Sandhya Pravartate, Uttishta, Narashardula. Then he's saying, oh my Lord, please wake up, the sun has risen, because till the time you will wake up, no activity will start. So that beauty satisfied his senses to such extent that whatever tapasya had made his senses dry, they were now filled with juice. So much of juice and nectar that there was no more scope for any fall down left. What to speak of Vishwamitra Muni, when Khar and Dushan attacked Sri Ram, when they saw Sri Ram for the first time, their senses became so calm. They said that we cannot fight with this person. He is so beautiful. He is so handsome. His beauty, our eyes cannot tolerate his beauty. We cannot remove our eyes from seeing him again and again. And that is where they decide, see, we may have to fight with this person, but we will not kill him. They decide. Just by seeing the beauty, senses are so calm, so calm. So that is the power. That taste is exclusively important. And then they are saying, Krichro Mahan Iva Bhavarnam Aplavesham Sadvarga Nakram Asukhena Titi Rashanti Tatvam Harer Bhagavato Bhajaniya Mangrim Kritvo Dupam Jasanam Uttara Dustaranam. They are saying that he is comparing 2 people. Aplavesham. Aplavesham means Those who have not taken shelter means the non-devotees. What they have to go through? Krichra, troublesome, mahan iha, great trouble they have to go here in this life. Of what? Bhavarnava, to cross the materialistic ocean. How? Shadavarga nakra, nakra is shark. These 6 shark-like senses, sukhena, create such great difficulty. Titi rashanti, it makes them exclusively very difficult to cross this Bhavarana, the material ocean of material existence. Tattvam. Tvam means you devotees. Then this is the second category. First was aplavesham and second is tattvam, you devotee. So he says, I want to give you a suggestion. What is the suggestion? Harer Bhagavato Bhajaniyam Angrim. Forget everything. Just worship the lotus feet of Lord Krishna by chanting his holy names. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram. What will happen? Dustara Aranam, the great and difficult ocean of material existence, which is what? Vyasanam, filled with all kind of dangers. Uttara, we will easily cross. Udupam, how? Udupam is a boat. The boat of the lotus feet of Lord Krishna will help us easily cross. So for a devotee, what is the tapasya? Just like here we are seeing such intense tapasya has been performed by Prithu Maharaj. So what is the tapasya for us? To sincerely chant and stay in the association of devotees. And that is why Prithu Maharaj is thinking, I have done so much. Prithu Maharaj is saying, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur points out, why he is doing so much of tapasya? He has already done so much. But Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is saying, Prithu Maharaj is thinking, the Lord will not bring me to his side for service. I have not done much. I mean, can you imagine? He has done everything, every single breath is for the service of the Lord. And here Prithu Maharaj is saying, I have not done sufficient. And I am not fully purified. I mean, what else? Lord Vishnu has personally given him darshan. The 4 Kumaras who are so inaccessible have personally taught them the entire essence of Srimad Bhagavatam, and still he is saying, I am not fully purified and I have to purify. And that is where he decides that I will take Vanaprastha ashram to glorify this Vanaprastha ashram, and I will enter the forest just like my ancestor Dhruva did, Dhruva Maharaj, because he comes in the lineage. And he is thinking of Dhruva Maharaj, just like for 6 months, day in, day out, he was 24 hours absorbed in Krishna Chaitanya. He says, I will do like that, perform intense tapasya. And by this tapasya, I will try to please Krishna so that he comes and takes me back to the spiritual world. When he is saying this, when he has done so much has been done already, and still he is thinking, not much has been done by me. So, even we see that Brahmaji had to do so much of tapasya. The first word that Brahmaji hears is tapa. And when this tapa is done, he gets the required power to create the entire universe. So the point here is tapasya is good, but which tapasya is good? Which nourishes the senses and tries to push it towards achieving a higher taste. Rupa Goswami in NOD, he says, search for higher taste is in itself a sign of higher taste. Search for higher taste in itself is a sign of having higher taste. Because till the time you have experienced higher taste, we will not search for higher taste. But how you have to do this? Prabhupada writes a brilliant purport. He says you have to mold or remold your life in a certain way. I repeat, there is a need to mold our lives in a certain way. So what is that way? In this beautiful shloka, Prabhupada is writing, Artha Indriya Arama Sa Goshtya Atrishnaya. He is saying Artha and Indriya Aram, people who are behind money and sense enjoyment, Sa Goshtya, and the people who associate with them, Atrishnaya, you have to give up their association. First thing, Tat Sammatanam Aprarigrahena cha. You don't have to associate with them, don't be accepted by them. What you have to do? Vivikta Rucha Paritosha Atmani, and you have to get disgusted by this material sense enjoyment. And second thing they say, Vina harer guna piyusha panat. You have to mold your life in such a way that we cannot live in peace without drinking the nectar of Harikatha even for a moment. Ajamil didn't become an acclaimed criminal in day one. He molded from being a Brahmana to being a top class dacoit and a killer and a murderer. He molded his life in a certain way and then he came to top. Again he remolded his entire life and became a pure devotee of the Lord. How did he do that? By constantly chanting. So first thing is, Ajamil was Vivikta Ruchya. He was absolutely disgusted with the material sense enjoyment. And second, Vina Harer Guna Piyusha Panat. And then Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur writes, he went to Haridwar, he rented one temple room and he shut the door. He shut the door within. Before everybody could rise, he took bath and came back. And then everybody slept, he went out, took bath and came back again. So that his eyes, which he feels were the root cause of his disaster that took place in his life. He says, I don't want to see anybody. 24 hours for 12 years, constantly chanting Harinam and completely purified, go back. Why he went back? Because he had that higher taste. That is where in the second shloka they are saying, Darshanam no dridikshunam dehi bhagavata architam rupam priyatanamam swanam sarvendriya gunanjanam. They are saying such beautiful shloka. This is Lord Shiva telling to the Prachetas, Darshanam no didrikshunam. I am Didrikshu means I am desirous to see what? Dehi bhagavata archita. Bhagavat archita. The top devotees, they worship you in a certain form. Lord Shiva is saying the most beautiful form of Lord Krishna. That devotees worship. Why? Rupam priyatamam swanam. Tama means topmost. Tartam. Good, better, best. They are saying Tama, best. Rupam, best. Swanam, Sarvendriya Gunanjanam. Which is the best form? By which all the senses are completely satisfied. They are saying, I want to see that form, my Lord. I want to see that form which is worshipped by the devotees. That form which completely satisfies the senses. And once the senses are satisfied, then there is no danger or less danger. I won't say no danger, but less danger of returning back to the material life. And that is where we have to reach by tapasya. And when we become steady, then this beautiful shloka, I'll end with this shloka. Very nice shloka from first canto, 1.6.26. Now somebody may say, okay, now that everything we have understood and we are also practicing, but now what to do with the time that is left? Now suppose somebody may have 5 years, somebody have 10 years remaining of his life. What to do till then? Narad Muni, when he leaves his home, as a child he leaves his home, then he gives this shloka. What he did in the time after he had darshan of the Lord. Because even after having the darshan of the Lord, as a Paramatma, he had quite some time. So what did he do in that time? He is saying, Namani Anantasya Hatatripa Patan. He says, Namani, I was constantly chanting, whose name? Ananta, Lord Ananta's name, who is unlimited. Hatatripa, being freed from all formalities. I didn't see time, place, circumstances. Wherever I used to get time, I used to chant, I used to sing, I used to dance. Hatatripa, no formalities. Patan, constantly reciting and chanting Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, Harinam. Guhya, then what is he saying? Gam paryatams. Then he's saying Namani Anantasya Hatatripa Patan Guhyani Bhadrani Kritani Chasmaran. He's saying how is this name? Guhyani, it is mysterious. And how it is Bhadrani, it is all benedictory, is the most auspicious. Kritani, these activities of Lord are highly purifying. And what I used to do? Smaran, I have to constantly remember the activities of the Lord. You may say, okay, we can't do this 24 hours. Then he is saying, Gam Paryatam Stushtamanagata Spriha. And then what he was doing? Gam Paryatan. He was moving from one dham to other. Then to other dham. That means he was constantly on the yatra mode. Whenever possible, short retreat. All devotees coming together, chanting, hearing, dancing, having prasad. Constant. Gam Paryatam. And because of that, what happened? Tushtamana. My mind became so peaceful and calm. Gatasuraha, and it was purified of all the material desires. And I did all this, and by then what did I do? Kalam pratiksham. This is how I spend my time. Kalam pratiksham means the waiting period before the Lord would come to take me. Kalam pratiksham. The waiting period, I did all this. Namani, Anantasya, Hatatipapatan, Guhyani, Bhadrani, Kritani, Chasmaram, Gam Paryatam, Stushtam, Managataspriya. Kalam pratikshan, Vimudo Bimatsara. And while doing all this, how was I? I was Vimuda, without any pride, and Vimatsara, without any envy for any other devotees. And with a short note, this two last point, without being proud and without having envy, till the time we reach this, there is no getting out of this world. So most of the time devotees feel that I have to do this, I have to do that, and I should have tens and thousands of devotees following me on the internet and here and there, wherever I go, thousands of people. It is not like that. Bhaktisiddhanta Maharaj, if you compare his life with his own disciple, his Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada's life, externally seeming who was more successful? Compare Bhaktivinoda Thakur's life and Prabhupada's life. Who is more successful externally? Prabhupada is more successful. But does that mean that Bhaktivinoda Thakur has done any less? No. Without Bhaktivinoda Thakur, there would have been no success for Prabhupada. Because both of them were connected by Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur. And through Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur, Prabhupada got trained. So in the mission of Lord Chaitanya, we may have a small role or a big role, that doesn't matter. Completing that role is the most important part. Because till the time you complete your part, the jigsaw puzzle will not be complete. And till your part is not complete, the entire success pattern will not be complete. So whatever seva or whatever small and big seva we are given, we are supposed to enthusiastically do, because that without that seva, the entire picture will not be complete. So tell me, isn't this a great success? Indeed, it is a great success, because without that seva, the mission of Lord Chaitanya is not getting complete. That is why this Vimuda and Vimatsara, this has to go, and that will come only by constant chanting and hearing of Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, Hare Krishna mantra in association of devotees, and the entire process is very, very easy. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Grantara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Shri Prabhupada ki jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Very beautiful. I know, thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much.
Hare Bol Prabhuji, thank you very much for your assistance. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Yes, Prabhuji.
This is Damodarananda.
Yes, Prabhuji. Yes. Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for this wonderful class. Learned a lot of things. Can you hear me? Hello?
Hare Krishna. Yes, Prabhuji, I can hear you.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Prabhuji can hear you, but when he unmutes his phone, it gets echoing, so he can go for mute for some time.
Okay. Yeah. So, Prabhuji, thank you very much. I've been to Vrindavan a few times, and I always wondered. And today you gave a very good explanation. You go to many temples. One of the temples, the Banki Bihari temple, is very popular.
Yes, Prabhuji.
And today I realized why is it so. When you explain what the benediction. Haridas Thakur asked from Banke Bihari ji, and last time I went, there were a lot of people, and some people were coming with guards to take darshan, and they were, all the devotees were being moved about to let them go and take the darshan very close. And whereas other temples, which our sampradaya, the Goswamis have established, they don't have so much of those class of people coming there. Usually mendicants and other devotees are there. So that was very informative. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Good.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes, Mataji. Dandavat pranam.
Prabhuji, you said about Bake Bihari. So
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Prabhuji, when devotees are asking questions, can you mute yourself, Prabhu, so that we can hear nicely?
Thank you, Prabhuji. So, as Prabhuji said in Bake Bihari, so is that the same Haridas Thakur we have in Chaitanya Leela?
No, Mataji, this Haridas ji is different. He is not our Haridas Thakur. He comes from Vraj Sampradaya. He is not from any other Sampradaya. But he was a Vrajvasi, and he is supposed to be the form of Uddhav ji.
Yeah. Thank you, Prabhuji. Very nice to know that.
Hare. Thank you.
So, Prabhuji, my another question is, when you said about Daksha, so is that Daksha Prajapati, you said, he said that his kids are not ready to go home back to Godhead, and why Narad Muni forcefully made them renounce everything and like that.
So, what is the question, Mataji?
The question is that the Daksha Prajapati we hear in in Shivji and Rati, that story, is that the same?
Yeah. This Daksha is not the one in the Sati pastime. When he is killed in Sati's pastime, he will take his second birth from the Prachetas. Hare Krishna.
Yes, Prabhuji.
So when he will take his second birth from the Prachetas, then he goes to perform tapasya. He performs a lot of austerities, pleases Lord Vishnu, again becomes a Prajapati, and then he comes. So this is his second birth. So this incident comes in his second birth, which will come in the 7th Manvantar.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Yes, ma'am. Hare.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Pranam.
Yes, ma'am.
Nice class. I have one question and also one comment. Yeah, I just wanted to appreciate the pastime that you mentioned about how highlighting the Vanaprastha ashram, that the story of the son and the father and the grandfather one really brings out the importance of how experience is so important, and that's the reason why Vanaprastha ashram is so important, that the way they can transfer the knowledge to the others. And yeah, again, I'm sorry, but I have another question on the Bake Bihari one. So as you mentioned, that Haridas Thakur is not from the Gaudiya Sampradaya. So now when we go to Vrindavan, and as you mentioned that this is he fulfills the material desires, and that was the benediction which was given. So in such a case, when we are going to visit Banki Bihari temple as Krishna conscious devotees, so what is the mood that we should have when we go there? Could you kind of highlight that?
Yeah. As a sadhaka, when we go for darshan, Banki Bihari ji actually, when Haridas ji got Banki Bihari ji, so there were two deities. One was of Lord Krishna and other was of Srimati Radharani. So this incarnation of Haridas ji, which he got these deities of Banki Bihari ji. So what happened was, when he used to sing for them, so both of them have now become one. So if you see Banki Bihari ji properly, half of his side is male and second side you will see a nathani and all female ornaments you can see there. So that is the combined incarnation of Radha and Krishna. Banki Bihari ji, right now what we see is a combined incarnation of Radha and Krishna. They are two have become one. So in that sense, the mood that Banki Bihari ji is carrying is none other than the mood of Lord Chaitanya in one sense. So if we are praying something to Banki Bihari ji who is non-different from Lord Chaitanya, then what else we can ask but pure devotional service? Because once we get pure devotional service, rest everything follows. Just like when we have made friendship with the king, so there is no separate need to ask whatever basic necessities we need in life. So what I feel is, what we should ask from Banki Bihari ji, who is the combined incarnation of Radha and Krishna, we should ask from him is Braj Bhakti, which is the rarest of the rare. But since we are going with some knowledge, not complete knowledge, but still, just because we have heard from the previous acharyas, Vartaman acharyas, I think we should ask, because he is in the most merciful form there, because Radharani is personally there in that form. So this is what I feel.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for that realization. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
So Prabhuji, having sincerely chanting and the association of the devotees is the key to get success in spiritual life. So in the story of Ajamil, he was waking up and taking bath before everybody wakes up, and after everybody sees, he again goes and takes bath. So in this situation, where is the thing like association of devotee comes, Prabhuji? Because he is keeping himself very separate from other people, and he is so much engrossed in chanting of the holy name. So isn't that like association of devotees missing?
Yes, Mataji, very nice question. Thank you. The one thing that I would like to highlight is, just like Daksha Prajapati is telling Narad Muni that na anubhuya na janati. These kids, they don't have anubhav and they don't have information, both of them. And that is why in future, if sometimes they may get allured to something that is material in terms of sense enjoyment, they may slip from their spiritual advancement. But in case of Ajamil, he had both Anubhav, Anubhuya and Janati. As a child, he knew spiritual knowledge, he was practicing also, but over a period of time, he slipped. But when he had that opportunity, because initially he had tested spiritual life also, and second he had tasted and had taste of material pleasures also, and when he faced the reality, just like Chatush Kumara, they are saying, we are not saying that you practice Krishna consciousness just because we have heard it. They say that we have heard it, we have read it, we have verified it, and then we are speaking. Similarly, why Ajamil could take that chance? Because he had anubhav also, that I can compare material and spiritual things. That was a deep conviction, very deep conviction, that material and enjoyment can never make me satisfied. He was damn sure, damn sure. And with that strong conviction, he gave 100% into chanting of holy name. Since we don't have that conviction, that is why we get tempted. The day we have that firm conviction that material sense enjoyment can never make me happy, we can also sit alone and chant Hare Krishna. But since Prabhupada said that no, it is safer, because we have Jad Bharat Maharaj's example, so we, to protect ourselves, we always are in the association of devotees. But Ajamil took that chance because he had anubhav and he janati, he understood that material sense enjoyment can never make me happy, it has made me only miserable, and he had seen and heard from the Yamdutas and the Vishnudutas, both sides, that this life is impure and has only, he himself says that I have become a dancing dog. So do we feel that my senses are making me, are turning me into a dog? We don't have that conviction. But Ajamil had that conviction that this is not going to give me any enjoyment, and that is why he left everything on the same day. The day he heard the Vishnudut Yamdut Samvad, that day he left everything and went to Haridwar. So till the time we have that conviction, we develop that strong conviction, we cannot take that chance. But he could take, because he was thoroughly convinced that only and only spiritual life can make me happy, and I don't want to stay in this material world, and only Lord Krishna is my savior. These three convictions he had, and that made all the difference. This is what I feel.
Yeah, thank you so much. It was really amazing. So Prabhuji, in Vishwamitra's story, like in this verse also we see that Prithu Maharaj is doing austerity, and the same thing, when we do austerity, the senses they don't have like a tempting thing, like okay, go there, go do this, do that. So they also calm down. So how come in Vishwamitra's story he was very successful in his austerity? So how come like Menka comes and how he gets that thing?
Yeah, very nice question, Mataji. Yes. So this can be seen just like the Chatush Kumaras, they are speaking about the process. The main problem is yogis, anybody other than a devotee, a bhakta, when he is doing tapasya, he is using his personal power. Using his personal power, which is limited, he is bound to fail. First thing. Second thing, for them, they have no superior taste that is coming. They are only heating. Tapasya means heating, just like I told. They are only heating the senses. They are making the senses more and more dry. And when the senses are dry, just like Tukaram Maharaj gives this very simple example, easy to understand. You have seen a bed bug. Bed bug, in summer season, he becomes so thin. You may see that he is turned into paper. But that same bed bug, in other 8 seasons, He is plumb. Even if you touch him with little pressure, he will burst and blood will come out. So similarly, a yogi doing his tapasya is like that. He'll restrain, try to heat. But the problem is senses need juice. They need enjoyment. And that is why Krishna Bhakti doesn't deny sense enjoyment. It says get a proper pure form of sense enjoyment. What Vishwamitra was doing, he was restraining, but senses someday, till the time they get something higher taste, they are just restrained. It is like a rubber. You stretch a rubber, someday it will come back and hit you more harder. And that is the mistake. What Vishwamitra did was, he was just trying to heat the senses, but there was no juice. And that is why immediately when the senses, eyes or ears, when they heard something, it was juicy for them. Immediately they caught up. We want something. And since there was no higher taste, senses said they demanded it so badly that he left his tapasya and left. That is why Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is saying that emergency in Krishna consciousness is that higher taste, constant flow of higher taste. On a daily basis, that flow has to be there. Once we taste it repeatedly, it is bound that we will not slip. Even if somebody slips, his coming back will be faster and more serious and more sincere. Just like Jad Bharat Maharaj in his next life as Jad Bharat, so serious, because it was so hard hitten that he became or behaved like a dumb man. He said, I have nothing to do with this world, no interaction with the world, zero interaction. Whatever the world has to say, it is their problem, not my problem. So he totally withdrew, and internally he was tasting such higher taste. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says, he was constantly meditating on the beautiful form of Lord Vishnu, and that is how he could survive. Because see, initially, previous life also he was alone, but he fell. Next life he was more alone or most alone, but still he did not fall because he was constantly meditating. He was so cautious, not ready to take a single paisa of risk in his spiritual life. And that is why he could flourish. So all difference is made by higher taste. If we have higher taste, then very low chances of slipping. But Vishwamitra didn't taste. When he tasted, when he was given Brahma Rishi Pad, and then when he took Ram and Lakshman, and when he tasted their beauty, that is the time. From there was no more slipping for Vishwamitra Muni. So that higher taste is what all makes difference.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mata.
Yeah, so Prabhuji, like the conclusion is like for devotional service we need to do all these things, and besides that we need to do austerities also, right?
Yes, Mataji. Austerity is always there. Austerity has, even to have Lord Krishna as their son, Mata Devaki had to perform so much of tapasya. Nanda Maharaj, Yashoda Mai performed so much of tapasya in previous life. When in 10th canto, when Garga Muni comes, he is called as Sumahan Tapa. Tapa in itself is austerity. Mahan Tapa means serious and severe austerity. They are saying Sumahan Tapa. He has done so much of austerity that today he is seeing the Lord face to face. So tapasya has always been there. For regulative principle, what less tapasya, but that is the basic tapasya. Gradually we have to get into more and more refined on a subtler level. Tapasya means not only on body level, subtle level. Ego, when sometimes my ego is hurt, I don't reply. That is highest tapasya in current phase for me. When my authorities are saying you are wrong, but even if I am not wrong, I have to accept, yes sir, I am wrong, kindly forgive me. Do we have that? So that in itself is tapasya. There are so many things on the subtle level. When it goes to a subtle level, that is more intense kind of tapasya. So that tapasya will always be there. So tapasya is indeed part of bhakti.
Thank you so much. Very beautiful.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much.
Yes, Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for such a beautiful class and question answer section. So, if anyone has any question or please. Okay, then we can end the call here. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. We can offer Vancha Patitanam Bhavnebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah. Anant Koti Vaishnavananda ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, His Grace Sukumar Gaur Prabhu ki jai. So thank you.